Hi, my name is Leon Versfeld, and in this video we're going to be talking a little bit about the difference between L1 visa and EB5. Just a brief background on these two immigration options. The EB5 is where the individual investor invests a minimum amount, and at least the day of this video it was $500,000, and Congress is talking about increasing it, where you invest the minimum amount of money into an approved regional center and in turn get a green card for you and your spouse and your kids under 21. The L visa, on the other hand, is where you own a company in the country where you're at and you're planning on opening a subsidiary or affiliate or branch in the United States that will ultimately sponsor you to come to the United States. The major difference between the EB5 and the L visa is that the EB5 immediately grants you, your spouse and kids under 21 permanent residency to the United States. In other words, you get green cards. Whereas with the L visa, you get a non-immigrant visa that will expire, at least if you start up a new company, within 1 year. And this is where most of the problems lie within the L visa. Within that first year, you are expected to grow the company to such an extent wherein you are elevated to an executive or managerial role. And then depending on the renewal, it is left up for interpretation by an immigration officer whether or not you have met the criteria of executive or manager. We see a lot of companies with the L visa fail at that time, and it becomes a little bit of a difficulty when people have uprooted their lives, moved the whole family over to come over on an L visa. However, despite these challenges, we have remained successful with regards to navigating through these requests for evidence that we get on renewal of L visas and continuing people on L visas. Under the Trump administration, there have been renewed efforts to clamp down on these L visas, especially as it pertains to very small companies. If you are eligible for either the L or the EB5 investment, it would seem to me like the most obvious and viable option would be to invest in the EB5 program, which grants you permanent residency right off the bat. That is, of course, if your ultimate goal through an L visa is not to ultimately obtain permanent residency. A lot of investors that I consult with do not feel comfortable investing their money into a business that they don't have control over, and hence would rather have control over their money in starting up their own company and letting their fate be in their hands. But it is important to note that the regional centers that you invest in under the EB5 program is highly scrutinized, and in fact is highly regulated under the Securities and Exchange Commission, which means that if these regional centers screw up, pardon my French, these guys go to jail. I would feel more comfortable investing my money, despite the fact that I may not necessarily get a big return on my investment if this is something you qualify for, but give security for you and your family if this is an option that you want to pursue in permanently moving to the United States, rather than moving to the United States on an L visa and in 1 year not knowing whether or not immigration is going to renew and or extend your L visa. The enormous amount of stress of setting up your own business in a foreign country, immigrating to a foreign country, is a lot to deal with, especially in light of the fact that after 1 year, immigration is going to be reevaluating your business and going to make a determination as to whether or not you and your family can remain in the United States. Well, don't get me wrong. I don't want to discourage you from applying for an L visa. But if you are in the fortunate position where you can afford to invest into the EB5 program, it would seem to me like it will alleviate an enormous amount of stress on you and your entire family that you are relocating to the United States. Some of you are fortunate wherein you are able to apply for both the L visa as well as for the EB5 investment green card. A lot of my clients who are in this fortunate position have immigrated to the United States with the initial L visa while awaiting their EB5 green card. One of the other factors that investors typically evaluate is the timing between the adjudication of the EB5 program versus the L visa. Because currently the timing in the adjudication of EB5 can take up to 17 months. Whereas if you apply for an L visa, that can be done within a couple of months. So some of my clients are in a very fortunate position where they want to immigrate to the United States almost immediately, when they open up a branch or a subsidiary to the United States and we get them an L visa, simultaneously in the background an EB5 is filed. So while they are awaiting their EB5, they are in the United States, and before the renewal of their L visa, they should have permanent residency. There are various different strategies that we can talk to you about on how one of these two options or both of these options could be applicable to you. I hope that this information was helpful to you in making a decision between an L visa and an EB5. I don't want you to miss anything, so like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter and SoundCloud, connect with me on LinkedIn, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.